Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're doing well. This is Arthur for the Love of Cars Uganda, making sure the drivers are healthy and the roads are safe, right? So I have a book here. I've been reading a couple of things. I already did series on this. This is the Traffic and Road Safety Act. This was amended in 2023, and I have the Roads Act in 2000. This was done in 2019. Now, just so you know why I'm making sure that we have at least the sections that are important for us as drivers and road users. Now, the Roads Act was created to reform the law relating to the development and management and maintenance of public roads, to provide for the appointment of road authorities, for the development and maintenance, control and management of different classes of public roads, to provide for toll roads and the imposition of road tolls on certain public roads, to provide for the classification of public roads, to provide for the declaration, control and protection of road reserves on public roads, to provide for access to public roads, to provide for axle load control on public roads, to provide for creation of an environment section for the road sector, to provide for road safety, to provide for offenses and penalties, to make provision for related matters. Now, just for us to understand, the law can be put in so many places. That's why lawyers have loads of things that they look at when they're trying to interpret a certain law, when they're trying to defend someone in court. Because, for example, there are sections in the Traffic and Road Safety Act that also work together with the Roads Act, so it's important that we understand sections. Now, for you to a little bit to understand, for the guys that didn't understand the gibberish I just read there. Now, the Roads Act was created for the Ministry of Works to reign on what happens on the roads in Uganda. As simple as that. The Ministry of Works decides who creates the roads. That's why recently you guys saw General Katumba Wamala in Parliament trying to suggest that Uganda National Roads Authority be put together, be put back under the ministry, so that it's not an independent entity. So that, because apparently the Uganda National Roads Authority takes much more money than even the Ministry of Works, and I also think that it's not fair. I find that these should be joined. I totally agree with General Katumba Wamala. So he's suggesting that the UNRA, Uganda National Roads Authority, be put together with ministry. They cut some jobs that are not needed, and then we save money as a country. So this is one of the the laws that actually the acts that guide that thing. Because when you look through it, you realize that at the end of the act, actually, it actually classifies the roads: national road, district road 1, district road 2, urban road, park road, community access road, and then a majority of the roads are actually under the authority of the Uganda National Roads Authority. So if what General Katumba Wamala is suggesting is accepted by Parliament, then all these will be under the Ministry of Works, which I actually. So the recommending authority, the roads, where the roads are, it's like, you know what is happening right now? We have the Uganda National Roads Authority, and then we have the Ministry of Works. So we have two authority figures. The executive director, Uganda National Roads Authority, has a lot of power, and then the minister also has a lot of power, and then, you know, the Uganda National Roads Authority is an authority in itself, so it's not really under the Ministry of Works, you get? So it's like you have two people that are controlling the same things. So anyway, and let's just go through. So today I read the entire thing. You know how we millennials read stuff. We don't really read it. Everything, we pick out what is needed. So what happened is that I selected a few things that I found we need to know. For example, the section 9 about payment of road toll, and then I went straight all the way to section 58. Yeah, because section 58 talks about broken down or abandoned vehicles, and then I skipped all the way to section 68, which talks about failure to comply with road signs. Yeah, and then is there another? And then I thought about talking about currency points because it's also important for us to understand. And then I also want to make sure that we understand the classification of vehicles, at least in Uganda, according to the Road Act. So I've got section 9. Now all the other sections are important to us, but these sections that I'm talking about are much more important to you as a driver, to you as a road user, and normal road users. Majority of these things are talk about who is in charge of what, who does what, you get. And also they talk about the authority of the minister, because the minister also in a way appoints the executive director, UNRA, you get. But anyway, let's go to section 9, payment of road toll. Now you guys know that we literally have only one road where we're supposed to pay toll, and that's the Entebbe Express, right? And then we're going to have the MPG Express, and then we'll have, I think, the Ginger Express, you get. So these in case the minister decides that these people are supposed to be paying the tolls at this particular road, a driver of the vehicle using a toll road shall be responsible for paying the toll. And then the subsection 2, they say the following vehicles are exempt from paying road tolls: emergency vehicles, that's ambulances, fire brigade, police patrols, army patrols, and all that. And then the presidential convoy. And then they say that the minister can also exempt another vehicle. You get, so motorcycles, bichi, all of you guys are supposed to actually pay at the road toll. You shall not drive a vehicle on a toll road without paying the road toll. So the road toll is actually a fee. The road where you pay the toll is the toll road. You get, that's why they change it. And then it's important, I just wanted to point that out, that it's a law. It's not something that someone just came up with. It's under the law. The minister decides that now people will be paying a toll to use this road, and of course then it becomes, I think they write, and then even when you don't see about it, just know that the minister knows about it. So let's go to section 58, which I find to be very important. Scrolling it down, or take him airplane mode of all day. Scrolling it down, got to Jacob recording, or get him airplane mode. Take him airplane mode. So a lawyer or a state attorney can decide to take you to court, and they bring a case against you in either of these or just one of these. So there are similarities. When I read this, for the guys that were paying attention to the Traffic and Road Safety Act series, you will realize some similarities. So 58 is about broken down or abandoned vehicles, and subsection 1 says a person whose vehicle breaks down or who is involved in a road accident on a public road shall remove the vehicle from the public road in accordance with this section. Now, for the guys that don't know, we have a number of roads that are considered public roads. Okay, they are national roads. Okay, they are national roads where there is heavy traffic, high speed, and limited access with dual carriage, with grade separated junctions, and they are considered the highest grade of the road. It may qualify for development using private sector foundation. Ginger Road, Metiana Road, those are national roads. They go nationwide. And then we have district roads. These are internal roads in the district, which Tegera. And then we have, that's district road 1, which link district centers to each other, which Tegera. And then we have district road 2. They provide a connection to the national road network or a class 1 district network, interconnect district headquarters and county administrative centers. Now, these are not the national roads. And then we have district 3 roads, which are connectors to and between class 2 roads and road network. And then we have urban roads. These are worked on by the district council. These are connectors to and between class 2 district roads. And then we have park roads. Now, the park roads within national parks, not being a national park or a district road, you get. And then we have community access roads. Now, the community access roads, you guys that built in estates, Jomai, those are community access roads. Now, all those are called, they are all called public roads, you get. So, let's go to subsection 2 or section 58. Subject to subsection 1, a vehicle which breaks down or which is involved in an accident in an urban area shall be removed from the public road within 2 hours from the time of the breakdown or accident. Now, this is what it means. If your car breaks down, yes, you're supposed to move it from the public road, okay? But you have 2 hours, okay? You have 2 hours within which to move the road. But however, there is more. Subject to subsection 1, a vehicle which breaks down or which is involved in an accident in a rural area shall be removed from a public road within 6 hours from the time of the breakdown or accident. So if your car breaks down within an urban area, Kampala city center, Wachiso city center, that's an urban area, you have 2 hours to move your car. But if it breaks down inside there, let's say Nansana Kumastowa deep down there, then that's not really urban, that's rural. It's very easy for you to think that Wazima Nansana Kumastowa, you are in an urban area. You are in a rural area. A person shall not repair a vehicle along a public road except for emergency cases, and the repair time shall not exceed a period of 2 hours in an urban area and 6 hours in a rural area. Now, your car breaks down, you should not repair it unless it's an emergency. Now, what qualifies to be an emergency? Omupira guwedemu omuka, that's an emergency. Mpira kuweddemu omuka, that's an emergency. Battery weddeko omuliro, that's an emergency. But you need to do it quickly. Afando, you know what? We are not going to be here for long. Now, there are also these lorries that where the gas runs out and it has to stop there. That's an emergency. That if the vehicle continues, it can kill people. But your small cars will start kafi de mukubo ingini ekubi. That's not an emergency. Totan kakusibira ingini yo mukubo. You are given 2 hours. And 2 hours, I know people will come and be impatient, but according to the Roads Act, you have 2 hours in urban areas and 6 hours in rural areas. Repair of broken down vehicles, area by the subsection 4. Subsection 5, repair of broken down vehicles or a vehicle involved in a road accident in emergency cases shall not be done in a manner that causes or is likely to cause danger, obstruction, or undue inconvenience to other road users or cause damage to the road. Now, mwina emimotoka kizitowa olese jeke na yezitowa na okube ekinya mu luguudo, that's not allowed. A road authority or a police officer shall, after the 2 hours referred to in subsection 2, be caused to be towed a mechanically broken vehicle to a yard at the nearest police station, and the vehicle shall be removed by the owner or his or her representative after paying cost of towing. If your car breaks down on the road, you have 2 hours before the traffic officer is allowed to bring a breakdown. To what? 2 hours. According to the, I know there might be other regulations. For example, in the city council, like KCCA might also have its own regulations. So KCCA might actually tow your vehicle before 2 hours have elapsed, and they might actually come with the KCCA Act. Because this is ministerial. Ministerial. This is ministerial. But there might be an act that or a bylaw that covers the city council. For example, Wachiso City might have its own. So you need to be very careful as you use this. The law is very tricky. But according to this one, you have 2 hours before they tow your vehicle. Chitegeze moroka yo bwefira somewhere. Umsika inajja mugambe, according to the Roads Act, I have 2 hours before I move my vehicle. But they have said after 2 hours, from the time the officer has seen the car, then the officer can actually bring a breakdown and they tow your vehicle. 2 hours in urban areas and 6 hours in rural areas. Okay, that's subsection 6. Subsection 7, a vehicle left unattended on a public road for 2 hours or more shall be considered to be abandoned unless, prior to the expiration of the 2 hours, the owner of the vehicle or his or her representative has notified the road authority or the police that the vehicle is to be parked for an extended period of time, and the road authority or police has permitted the owner of the vehicle to be parked for an extended time, subject to such conditions as the road authority or the police may deem necessary. So this means even those lorries that you see that break down in the middle of the road and they leave them there. That's why you see that normally when a lorry breaks down on the road, there is a police officer or an army officer there. Because that's what is supposed to happen. If OC Traffic gives you permission, he's supposed to give you an officer to stay there so that you're not disturbed further. You get. But after 2 hours, if your vehicle stays there, and I'm sure the reason why they don't tow away those big lorries is because they don't have tow trucks to take those lorries away. You get. Or it's really expensive for you to tow a very big towed lorry. You get. But after 2 hours, the officer is permitted to actually tow that truck. They will deem it abandoned. So if your vehicle breaks down on the road at night, go and inform the police and tell them, you know what, OC, my car broke down there. Please allow me to leave it there until morning, and then I can come and repair it. I hope I make sense. So subsection 8, any person who repairs a vehicle along a road or leaves a vehicle unattended on public road without authorization from road authority or the police commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 96 currency points or imprisonment not exceeding 4 years or both. A person who repairs a road. Now you're not permitted to repair a vehicle on the road. Now that we have talked about currency points, I think it's important that we actually do some calculation there. I don't know if this phone has a calculator. Calculator. Yes, there is a calculator here. Now, you guys need to understand that the currency point is worth 20,000 shillings. So they have said if you're found fixing a car on the road, without authorization from the road authority, which means a traffic officer, a KCCA person, and all that, you can be arrested. You guys have seen it in the Kampala City Business District. They arrest you, take you to City Hall. Now, when they take you to City Hall, you are liable to pay a fine not exceeding, because they have not given a minimum. So you can go to court, you pay 1 currency point, which is 20k. But the maximum is 96 currency point, but a currency point is equal to 20,000 shillings, which means they can fine you 1,920,000 shillings. That would be the fine if they arraign you before court and the judge decides, we are fine a million, fixing a car on the road. That means they can take the mechanic, they can take the owner of the car, they can take whoever they find fixing cars on the road. But they have not talked about private parkings. Then, subsection 9, a driver of a motor vehicle that has broken down or is involved in an accident shall provide adequate warnings at reasonable distance that does not cause or is likely to cause danger, obstruction, or undue inconvenience to other road users, and where the manner of parking is indicated by a signpost or marking on the roadside, the driver shall park the vehicle or trailer in such a manner. Now, this basically means if your car breaks down on the road, tell other road users. One way you can tell other road users is by, those emergency triangles that we were forced to buy some time back? Yeah, those ones. You have two, one for behind, one for the front. You get, so put one in front, one behind. To warn, if it's a corner, you put in the corner before someone comes into a corner so that they know. And then these lorry drivers have actually started that they get someone there to guide you. You guys have seen those things, right? So subsection, and if you don't do that, still the roads authority can take you to court and then you get fined. Subsection 10 says a person who fails to provide a warning in accordance to subsection 9 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to fine not exceeding 48 currency points or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. Now, Kakati, this is 48 currency points. If you're going to do 48 currency points, that means you can be fined 960,000 shillings. Subsection 11, a person shall not drive a motor vehicle on the shoulders, cycleways, pedestrian crossing, or footways of a public road. These border guys, a person who contravenes subsection 11 commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 48. You even do one way. Imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. They can fine you 960,000, pay to the government 960k. You wait when URA discovers this secret that, so when the police, we can increase revenue. Because you see this 960,000, it goes to the government. There and then URA will start pressurizing police to fine people. mujja kulaba ababoda nga muva mu business. So subsection 13 says a court convicting a person of an offense under subsection 12 may, in addition to any penalty imposed, order the person to pay the cost of repairing the damage caused. Hey! Bana abasajja ababoda mumanyi n'okujja ne mujjawo amagwa ge bataddewo musobole okuyisangawo amateeka gano bwe ganaakola bantu bange bajja kujja bakwate n'amagwa bagakusasuze because the court can make you pay, because gwe bakwatidde mu musango yaba yagukoze zimbalese. Now we have a subsection there 58 that talks about police can sell your vehicle if they take it to the police or their parking yard and you don't claim it in 2 weeks. Then they can announce in the newspapers, and then afterwards they give you 90 days, and then they can proceed to sell. And after they have sold, they first pay their cost and then they give you the balance. So they can decide to sell it 1 million shillings. Of course, they have a government valuer, so don't be scared of that. Then we have some subsections that talk about the control points of access to public roads, requirements, then destroying roads. Abantu abaocheza ebipira mugundi mukubo. Of course, abaocheza ebipira mukubo, they can hey, you guys, destroying a public road, let me calculate for you. How much you can be fined? You can be fined 120 currency points. Chitegeza, if you are arrested, found burning tires in the road, you can pay 2,400,000 shillings as a fine if you take it to court, obviously. That's why the guys that get arrested, police because you cannot argue. Give the police officer 20k to let you go. You get it? And then there is interferences on public roads. But this is all about roads. But all those things are good. They are good, but normally they are not for the love of cars. Now let's go to subsection 68, which says failure to comply with road signs. A person who fails to comply with a road sign posted by a road authority or the police restricting the use of public road under the act commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 24 currency point. Now, if at all you fail, there is a sign 40 kilometers per hour, and then you exceed that, there is a sign no access, you access it, you can be fined 24 currency points. Is how much? Remember, I told you each currency point is worth 20,000. That's 480,000 shillings. That's in court, of course. That's done in court. And I think those are the sections that I found very useful to you guys that have cars. And of course, you guys should go and buy these books, the Traffic and Road Safety Act, which I did a series on, and then the Roads Act 2019. And then there is something I thought I should talk about. Of course, I have already told you that the currency point is worth 20,000 shillings. Now, I just thought I should tell you so that you understand. And of course, there are other acts, by the way, that you need to understand. The Traffic and Road Safety Act is mentioned here, which is this. And of course, now this one, they actually have the updated one, 361. And then there is a Uganda National Roads Authority Act. So a judge can charge you here, and the Uganda National Roads Authority Act. And then you can also defend yourself according to the acts that we have talked about. And then there is a Uganda Road Fund Act. Yeah. And then there is a National Environment Act. There is a Physical Planning Act for the guys that build and don't leave road reserve. There's a Public Finance Management Act. There's a Public-Private Partnership Act. There is Inland Water Transport Act. There's a Kampala Capital City Authority Act. You remember I told you that this law gives you 2 hours, but then the Kampala Capital City Authority Act can give you less than 2 hours. So you also need to. You guys that drive all cars, you should have all these laws with you, because anytime your car breaks down, then you bring it out according to this act. You get, and then you bring it out according to the Kampala Capital. I'm going to get it and also go through it. According to the Kampala Capital, according to the Kampala Capital City Authority Act, I'm allowed to park here for what's again, right? And then there is a Engineers Registration Act, and then there is a Builders Control Act, there is a Ferries Act, there is a Land Act. You can also they are all there. And then of course when we also go here, these guys did not mention them. These guys in the Traffic and Road Safety Act, they did not mention them. But there's something else that I wanted you guys to understand. The classifications of vehicles. This is on page 73 of the Roads Act. Motorcycles. These are vehicles with 2 wheels, excluding tricycles. Because then tricycles, then commercial motorcycles not allowed on road tolls. Now, commercial motorcycles, the borders, are not allowed on road tolls, but other motorcycles can be allowed. Then light vehicles, these are vehicles with 3 or more wheels, with or without trailers, with no heavy axle, or on the trailer on the vehicle or trailer. So emotoka zaffe zonna zonna nuwa, super custom, these are light vehicles. And then we have medium goods and vehicles and medium buses. Goods vehicles or buses with 3 or fewer than 3 axles, or which one or more is a heavy axle. Those are the Costa, which tegera, because the light vehicles chigege ziri mu light vehicles. Then large goods and vehicles and large buses, goods with or buses with 4 or more axles, which tegera 4 axles zimaguru 10, which tegera ziba 4 axles kati ziba 4 emipira no jibere binene ebiri like that. So but majority of you guys are driving light vehicles, just so you know. But I recommend that you guys, first of all, because we have covered this and this, go and buy these, the Traffic and Road Safety Act. That's a CAP 361, and then go and buy the Road Act 2019. You get, and then next time I'm probably going to come with the Kampala City because it's KCCA that has an act. If you watch sort of munaba kubira buli bajeririye likolereyo wakisuna bote mu mateeko osobola digoba no gamba lyeteka according to the Roads Act kati eno yekuba because teri referring ako nene ebekuba because nayo teri yogerako. But other than that, I hope this has been fruitful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to tell your friends about this channel. There's plenty of information. And don't forget, we do pre-purchase inspection when you're going to buy a car. We make sure that you get a good car at a good price. I come with a mechanic. I'm your guardian angel. That's what I do. I make sure you make the right decision. I make sure that the excitement of buying your next car, your new car, your first car doesn't take over. And I make sure that we make the decision sanely. And then together with the mechanic, we make sure that we buy a car in good condition. And we have had a very good success rate. Normally the guys that don't do what we tell them to do, which is human, you get. But the pre-purchase inspection fee, of course, it changes from time to time, looking at inflation and all that. So for the love of cars, we make sure that we have healthy drivers and safe roads. Until next time, ciao.